Шановні колеги, всім
Good morning, dear colleagues. We start our working day at Ukraine Crisis Media Center. The topic of the first press briefing, investigation related to Maidan cases. Volodymyr Golodniuk, son of Heavenly 100 hero, son of Serhiy Bondarchuk, Volodymyr Golodniuk, father of Ustym Golodniuk, hero of Heavenly 100, Yevgeniya Zakrevska, Olena Storozhuk, and we will be joined by Vitaliy Tytych soon. Welcome on stage, dear colleagues.
доброго ранку.
Good morning. First, I would like to tell you about how the Department of Special Investigation was formed. Under the pressure of society, and 2 years ago, in December 2014, 2 years ago, a decision was taken to create a Department of Special Investigations, and this was done in order to consolidate in one place all the investigations concerning the cases against activists of Maidan. This was a joint effort formed in the environment of proponents of the idea. And at that stage, we told that it is necessary to highlight all the episodes and to highlight the crimes committed by Yanukovych and the events of 20th of February and 18th of February, and there is mention of this event. And now, who needs this? We need this. Families, those who were wounded, lawyers, and the whole Ukrainian society, and for the world community. There should be proofs that these crimes were committed, and that the cases should be investigated. And about the changes of the prosecutor's office and the structure, what these changes can lead to. First, that some people can avoid liability. Those who were involved in these cases during Yanukovych regime, and there should be a proper investigation of these cases. Second, we have two separate centers, and they do not have communication between them. For 2 years, we achieved some results, but this was ruined because there is no communication between these units, and this will harm, especially in cases of violent crimes. And third, because of the problems in legislation that we face about in absentia, bringing verdicts in absentia, there can be blank verdicts that won't be accepted by Ukrainian society and world community. General prosecutor and the president of Ukraine should understand that they should think about the consequences. So the cases, they should be sent to court. And for us, the main, that all the evidence should be collected and the decision that will be made by court, that it won't be questioned by Ukrainian society or world community. About legal issues, my colleague will tell you about legal issues now. Good afternoon, everyone. First, I would like to say that this idea concerning illegal organization headed by Yanukovych and this case should be investigated separately as a separate proceedings. So 2 years ago, even more, those who suffered and their lawyers and scientists, they gathered and they, under terrible pressure, collected evidence. And Yarema, he planned to investigate those crimes. Those crimes were all interconnected, and they were a result of activity of criminal organization. These are not separate cases.
Вбити. Це не є розрізненими випадками.
So these are not separate crimes that coincided in time. This was an idea, a plan, so Magnitsky and Yarema, they were against, and Shokin, he just reconciled with the cases, and now they represent that these cases are new and different from the investigation was carried out before, and this is wrong, because in each episode, first they created department, then an office, and they collected all evidence there on these crimes. They tried to establish correlation, and they built a structure of these crimes. And you know that there are some verdicts brought in these cases already, and so these top officials, former top officials, should be brought to justice. So yesterday, Prosecutor General stated about these matters yesterday, and the structure now is ruined, and some cases were not brought to this department. So we see that the cases are distracted, and we see that nothing that was previously done concerning top officials, and especially Yanukovych, that we won't have guilty verdict in court in these cases. Why?
Процесуальне законодавство України має
procedural code of Ukraine has two limitations. First, this is pre-trial investigation and its term, a maximum a year, starting from the moment of announcing suspicion. If we collect in one case the proceedings with different term of pre-trial investigation, so we have the smallest term in this case. And if we collect all the cases and create a huge one case, as Yuri Vitalyich said, we will have term of investigation about 2 or 4 months, and a priori it is not impossible to do it in such a short term. Technically, physically, it is impossible to bring this case to the court in these terms. And not only until the year, but it is impossible to do it until even trial in absentia, that the term which I established by Supreme Council law, and this term expires April 2017. Maybe some people went to courts and they know the terms in which the cases are heard in courts. We are speaking about big cases. And for example, Svetoshinsky court, they have 110 volumes of cases, and this case is considered for 2 years. It is not delayed. It is heard twice a week, and each time many people are there, all journalists, they see the situation, and we see that it is impossible physically to do this in such short term that is established for trial in absentia. And this will result in the fact that when they announce the completion of investigation concerning this united case, we won't be able to return to the stage of pre-trial investigation. And that would mean that, this will be a reversible step. The general prosecutor will be replaced and other positions will be taken by other people, so we won't be able to continue with these cases. So Prosecutor General, he said that this will be done until his term, within his term in office. And with this approach, we cannot do all these actions properly. If investigators and lawyers, if they won't have any other term, if for Prosecutor General, it is important that he want to benefit from this case himself. So, but we should do it for society, and we see that so he just does some steps in order to get some benefits. And he says that there should be some mini Hague, but these are all different things. So he says that there are expectations of society and international community, but we believe that society expects two things from this investigation. First, to establish truth. And this truth should be for the whole society. And people should see that this investigation is fair. So people should make their own conclusions in order not to have some misunderstanding. and further generations would also agree, and the same concerning international community, and also bringing those who are guilty to responsibility, to deprive them of assets, to send them to prison, to deprive them from opportunity to travel to other countries. And also the plan voiced by Prosecutor General, it doesn't complete any of these tasks. So there should be all evidence and proofs collected, and the work that is done to process this information. A lot of work has been done, and it is ongoing. And it should result in the conviction, and people should understand those arguments. And also about punishment. What is trial in absentia? What is verdict in absentia? This is a text, this is court decision that first does not directly influence on a person, because this person is not here and no one will extradite this person. And this decision won't be taken by the world community if it is done as it is planned to be done. And also, one more thing, unfortunately, that was said before by the military prosecutor, and there are some cases on top officials there, on Klimenko, Kurchenko. So he voiced such a terrible thing. He said that, and it was presented as an achievement, that today we have several tens of verdicts that are so there were some verdicts in order to promote investigation. So Klimenko case, you know about this case, you heard about it a lot. When this case was brought to military prosecutor's office, so people were under suspicion, or these suspicions were prepared, and these people got their verdicts, but people didn't see the texts of these verdicts, and the victims do not have access to these verdicts. And there is concern that this Prosecutor's General plan also wants to do it in relation to other cases. So Prosecutor's General verdict, we cannot understand their actions, and we cannot control this from the side of society. So we have negative attitude toward decision that was taken yesterday, and we want to minimize the consequences of these actions. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Dear friends, I would like to summarize everything what Yevgeniya said. She maybe used too many legal terms, juridical terms. Those people who don't know nuances of the investigation, they might not understand what the thing is. I will tell you in a simple words. In those crimes against protestants on Euromaidan, The cases were prosecuted separately in different districts of Kiev and Kiev region. To establish cooperation, the department was established. Each was provided powers so that no one interfered with its operations, because people joined in one case, they can discuss the nuances and can make more efficient work. And within 2 years, the department proved that it is efficient. For example, we want to be so that this case are prosecuted fast. We, the parents, understood that crime should be proved ideally in trial for those who are sentenced by default. They can't appeal against decision and get non-guilty verdict. Not only parents, not only Ukrainian society. The Ukraine, this is who Ukraine is tested by this exam. All decisions, all judgments of this kind, they should be very well grounded. We do not oppose some certain president, for example, Poroshenko, or general prosecutor. We call on cooperation, and we ask President Poroshenko and Yuri Vitalyevich, the prosecutor, to conduct joint meetings with the parents and our lawyers to issue the decisions which will not start new rounds of investigations, so that we can prove that Ukraine is democratic society. Are there any comments from the lawyers? Be brief, please. A brief comment. I would like to accent on several moments. Risks in so fast transfer of cases to court, they can entail catastrophic consequences. The cases where lots of victims and stakeholders in such proceedings, we can't predict how much time this would take. As General Prosecutor said, we already have 5,000 volumes in this investigations, and how can judge learn or look through 100 volumes of case, and all the volumes, they should be read within the period of proceedings before the case is submitted to trial. Violation of the right for protection by lawyer, this is the ground that may cancel any verdict if we do not comply with this provision. Then the sentences will not be accepted by world's community. So our judges, they give judgments. We want justice, but procedure should also be consistent. If we conduct very fast procedure, this would not be justice. This would be not justified punishment. I would like also to address the topic of judges. They want the judges to do this things which are not inherited to judges. This is the functions of prosecution, to establish the truth. cases are transferred from one judge to another because judges do not want to take responsibility for delivering decisions, delivering judgments. We will not be able via consistent procedures to get the result which is weighted by victims and the society. So the risk of such judgment is not only in that we destroy the department, we have the risk of getting unlawful judgments. And now Vitaliy is given the floor. Very brief comment. We focused on the consequences which are understandable for the victims and lawyers. I would like you to pay attention on the motives. The first one is traditional motive. The next anniversary of revolution is coming. What we will be talking about at the anniversary while celebrating it, you will hear, as well as all Ukrainian society will hear, that now we will try Yanukovych and his gang case within 1 month. This would be talked about at every television channel, and Yanukovych will only laugh at us because this is what he wants. So we are nervous and we respond in such a manner because Yanukovych won. We put lots of efforts and this results in zero. Our efforts are annulled. The second thing, we discussed a very interesting situation with lawyers yesterday. The gang of Yanukovych, so-called, or the department which will be investigated the organized crimes. Here all economic crimes are supposed to be tried by such department. The Department of Special Investigations really achieved great success in investigating non-violent crimes. They have investigated the crimes of top management of economic court. This court was controlled by Yanukovych. Yanukovych controlled economic flows, monetary flows via economic court. There were lots of cases for the total amount from 3 to 10 billion of dollars of unlawful judgments issued by the economic court. It is unprecedented figure. Not only Yanukovych had benefit from such unlawful judgments of the economic court. Lots of individuals and legal entities which are now integrated into the reigning regime in the country, they were also involved. The first response was that suspicion was declared to Yemelyanov. Zakrevska said that the cases investigated by the department and concern recovery of VAT, they are huge amounts. The cases into VAT reimbursement, they were investigated by Bondarchuk investigation department. And were transferred to the investigator, and the procedure was finalized. It was a PR action, and the department which investigated transparently its cases were transferred to the other body. So taking some cases out from all the cases, this way we lose influence on the cases. We become just clones who can take part in civil society actions or rallies, but we can't be parties in procedures. We have time for 2 questions. You are welcome. Olga Vasilevska, TSN TV program, telling in figures. No witnesses were questions, no cases were brought to trial, and they said that you as lawyers are interested in this, dragging on these cases. We are here alone with the victims, not only the lawyers. You quoted nonsense. This is the wording, as far as I know, of the order which was issued at the meeting where I was present. It seems to me Viktor Koev declared this, publicized this text. I signed the order not publicizing this decision. But if it has been already publicized, what does it mean? No investigation is ongoing. The number of interrogated persons is not known to me because I am a lawyer, but I took part in more than 100 of interrogations conducted by Special Investigation Department, including Mr. Yatsenyuk and other persons who provided very valuable information. 5,000 volumes of those cases are available. I always have been telling that lawyers differ from people talking on Facebook, social media. We brought documented evidence, many volumes of documented evidences about economic crimes of Yanukovych regime. Millions of interrogations could be conducted, but what would be the result? I repeat that if someone has question and someone would like to shift this to shift investigation and publicize into the plane of real facts, we will provide you information. I have question to the victims. You said you will appeal to the President and Prosecutor General. What would be the manner? Are you going to have meetings with General Prosecutor's Office? Thank you for your question. The meeting was planned with the General Prosecutor, and of course we plan to the anniversary of the Revolution of Dignity. We are going to have the meeting with the President, and we will provide well-grounded proofs. We will write letters and submit them. They will be public so that we have public uproar this is very important for us, not just PR, but de facto documenting of all the facts, so that the verdicts can be brought to doubt by world community and Ukrainian society. Dear colleagues, if you want to interview our